You Christians might make him 3, but he is 1. You think that since shirk is the worst of sins to Allah, Allah would be the last being to use the majestic we, don't you think? Another thing, we are talking about something and you jump to a completely different subject, as if you are not already confused. So you want to confuse yourself even more. Can you please give an example of that? You must know where I have done that, don't you think? Where did I jump to another subject? I thought you were doing that by jumping to Quran 425 instead of focusing on Quran 424. What the slave girls has to do with Muhammad that married a girl? Well, think about it, okay? First of all, in Arabic, even to this day, when you say a girl, it means someone who is not married and who is virgin. Like Aisha was. This could be someone who is 50 years old and not married. 30, 40, 60 years old, any age. Right? A female of any age. When not married and virgin, you can refer to her as a girl. You can refer to her as girl. What do you call a 6-year-old like Aisha was when Muhammad married her? Or do you not believe that? Do you not believe the hadith? Of course, girl can be used as well as girl. Okay. As we understand it, but in the verse in question, slave girls is meant to be unmarried slaves. Even though there is no period after quote forbidden to you are married women, make it sound like you can have sex with married slave girls. Second of all, there is no proof except some weak hadith that Muhammad married a little girl. What makes it weak? Doesn't Sahih in Arabic mean the correct? This is recorded in both Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Would you like me to post them? And many hadith prove the opposite. So Bukhari and Muslim can't be trusted? Well, if so, what can you trust about Sahih Hadith? Aisha most likely was either 17 or 19 when married Muhammad. Where is the Sahih to contradict Muslim and Bukhari to say she wasn't 6 and consummated when 9? However, there are other accounts that says she was 13 or 9. And these are Sahih? Or does Sahih the correct mean nothing? Either way, she reached puberty, and that was common thing to marry at that age. Either way, so she was at puberty. So she was at puberty at 9. My grandmother got married at age 13. Not in America, I bet. I'm sure your grandmother married at a very early age. Does it make your grandpa a pedophile? If he did, and it was here in America, he'd be behind bars or wearing a tracking anklet, a bracelet. Yes. In Europe, 13 was a legal marriage age a few hundred years ago. How about age 6? We're talking about 1400 years ago in Arabia, where puberty is reached at earlier age, and where the lifespan is 35 years. So people used to get married early. So, marry them at 6. You do realize that it's still going on in modern Islamic times to marry little girls? As a matter of fact, just a couple of months ago, many Palestinian men in Gaza were seen marrying girls who looked younger than 6. This doesn't mean anything that she was 9. She could be 17 or 19 or 13. Either way, it was normal at that time. Normal at the time to marry 9-year-olds? I personally prefer, if you don't make video using my words, for the simple fact that you have the tendency to misunderstand things, either on purpose or genuinely. Again, I'm not misunderstanding anything. It's very understandable to me that you are greatly avoiding the fact that there is no period between, quote, married women, forbidden to you are married women, and, quote, what your right hand possess. It is very understandable to me. Either way, this will result in much more consuming for me because I will have to defend myself, and I have a very busy period in my life, so I ask you not to do it. I don't see you defending yourself. I see you trying to defend Islam from probing questions. There's a difference. And according to Muhammad in the Hadith, the quote, the ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr, unquote. So, to me, that means what you're doing is more important to Allah than fighting in Allah's cause with the sword. Since martyrdom in Islam seems to be more than just dying in the cause of Allah, but being a soldier of Allah and killing for Allah. Killing those who don't believe like you. I ask you again also. I ask you also again to finish reading what I say, then start replying. I do it this way to show that I'm reading everything you are presenting and nothing is escaping me. It's much easier and more productive and less confusing. I tell you what, I'll give you two versions. This one, and the one that I think you will like, okay? Take care. And you take care also, my friend.